That's right. You caught me rocking out to that lovely little intro that our sister soldier, Leslie, created herself. And speaking of Leslie, she is not here today. She is on a day off. So filling in for her today will be my lovely Lou from Lou's Lobby. But you all know this is Apple Bites, where we take a bite out of everything and let you know how it tastes. So, without further ado, let us bring in Lou from Lou's Lobby. Hi, Lou. How are
Hello.
you?
I'm, I'm good. I'm good. How's everybody doing in TV land today?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like I'm in WandaVision here. Got my own show. Stuff is going on.
Well, as long as you don't change my clothes, we good.
Oh, wait. What? Oh, I can do that?
Well, we could do that off camera.
Speaking of WandaVision, I know that our Falcon and Winter Soldier came out. Did you get a chance to watch it yourself?
I did. I watched it yesterday. It wasn't bad.
I have to admit, I love the first bunch of minutes. I love that whole Falcon sequence with him kicking butt and
that was just action packed.
Oh my god, it was amazing. And like, as much as I enjoyed the show, I felt like it was a little slow.
It was like they're just kind of drawing it out. You started off like amazing with all that action, the fast pace, this, that, the flying, and then poof, it's all talk. It's like, oh, like I kept waiting for something else major, but it wasn't completely bad, but it was a good start.
I agree.
I'll go with that.
And I feel like that ending, we left you going, because I didn't see that coming.
I can't. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. Some of these, I like WandaVision's first episode. I had to watch about 2-3 times to finally get it in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get you. I'm one of those people that, especially if I'm going to do a review, which is kind of silly, I need to watch it once, twice, 3 times.
Yeah.
Just because I want to make sure that I get in, talk to the people about what I really thought about the show. And on my first view, I can tell you if I liked it or not.
Mm-hmm.
After that, unless something was very memorable.
Well, I'm one of those Easter egg hunters. Not that I know what the heck I'm looking for, but oh yeah, I'm all over it. I love watching the little references and the little this and the little tidbits. I'm always trying to throw a little info at the kids and the family. So did you know that this means blah, 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 blah. And then they all just look at me like the giant nerd that I am. So it all works out either way.
Oh man. That is just like, I completely understand where you're coming from. I love looking for those Easter eggs, but I feel like I'm the kind of guy that finds the Easter eggs afterwards. Like, I'll see. I might find 1 or 2, but while I'm watching the show, I'm like, no, it ain't gonna happen.
Oh yeah, to this day, I still find like different little clues and little Easter eggs they put in the movies and shows, and like, oh, some of them I've had to learn through YouTube videos and other people pointing them out to me, but hey, I still love these little Easter eggs. It shows how much effort and detail they put into the most minute little candy wrapper on the floor or background picture behind you. I love that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's always amazing. I especially like when I'm playing video games. I like finding those little things. Yeah.
Don't get me started. I have the conspiracy books over here too.
Oh, I forget you do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
darn you, rock star.
So you got a chance to watch Justice League, and I've been watching back and forth as people argue online. The people who I thought were gonna hate it. The people who I thought were gonna like it. I was surprised by like 1 or 2 people on what they decided. So I'm like,
Well, I can honestly say it took me a whole about 7-8 hours to watch this 4-hour movie. Work sucks that way. But I did get through it in 1 day, so I'm actually proud of that. Amazing flick. Immediately, without spoiling anything, as hard as I will try not to, you can literally see the difference like as soon as the movie starts. You can see, I mean, it's not like, one is PG or one is animated, one's live action, but you can see the direction like as soon as the movie starts.
Is it because of the aesthetics, the way that Snyder likes to do his movies, or is it because of something else?
Oh, I don't want to spoil the very beginning either. Let's just say you can see the difference right away.
All right, that's good to know, because like I said, there was a bunch of people online arguing about all this stuff, and the people I thought were gonna like it, like I said, liked it, and the people that I thought weren't gonna like it, because it's not really about if they like the movie or not. I know some people are gonna get upset with me. What are you talking about? I have my own opinion. I always feel like it's if you like what you like or you don't like what you don't like.
Yeah.
It's like do you like Marvel or do you like DC? Do you like DC? Do you like Marvel? And if you hate Marvel, then you probably hate the movie. You hate DC, then you probably hate that. And I hate when that happens, because I'm like, give both of them a chance, see what's going on. Don't just hate it because it's what it is.
I get it. It's that classic Coke versus Pepsi kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I like me. I'm a Coke head, but I like Pepsi when I go to certain restaurants because I have no choice. So it's not that bad.
Well, Carlos Muniz here says he loved it. So,
oh well, the few people I've spoken to that have already seen it, they all loved it. And I have one person that let's try this again. He does review the videos. He does do his reviews, and he actually told me he enjoyed it. He loved it.
Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing it, but it is something you have to decide to give your time to. Even though, like I've been hearing from other people that they took about 7 hours to watch it. So you're not the only one that told me that. So,
yeah, I mean it's something you're dedicating an afternoon to. I can't lie. It's definitely worth it. That movie was. It would have been worth sitting in a theater for 4 hours, going numb in the legs, watching it.
That's what I've been hearing too. I've been hearing that we all know how Snyder likes to put all that beautiful aesthetics and stuff into it. I can just imagine how this would look on a big screen.
Oh, all I wanted to do was come home, plop in front of the TV, put these big old headphones on, but the Pepsi gods are not pleased.
I was about to say, our friend, son of Saint, Mr. Angel Manuel Lopez says, "Whoa, the Pepsi gods are not pleased."
That's all right. The Coke Lords will treat me fine.
I was about to say the same thing.
I've been watching a lot of Narcos this month.
Oh, man.
No, but it is definitely a great movie. Once you get, maybe halfway through, you'll start to see what he's taken out, what he's been putting in, and, where he was going with it.
Right. That's good. I was really like, because the whole rumor was that he left it on his own, but I had heard that he was having problems with Warner Brothers. Before this, they didn't like the direction he was going with the franchise. They were really upset with how Batman versus Superman came out and his whole direction on things. And, then he had the Death in the Family, and that completely took him out of it. But I feel like it was more of a decision he was like, look, well, you guys want to kick me out anyway, so I'm going to leave because I have my own things to deal with.
Oh yeah, that's right. I thought he had gotten sick. I didn't realize he lost someone.
Just to mention, his daughter had committed suicide.
Oh
yeah. And I just want to say, if anybody out there is thinking about it, or you're on this path, there are people willing to talk to you. Just reach out.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh man, yeah. So that's what and it was his daughter, and he loved his daughter, and just like we all love our kids, and that just took him out of it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, it's good to have him back, and it was an amazing vision he brought back to the screen.
WB needs to take a step back. They control too much of the editing process, giving us that nastiness we got originally.
No. It wasn't bad. You got to look at it like this. The Schneider cut is the basic, the uncensored version. The original is the Kids Bop version, the family friendly.
The Kids Bop version.
That something everybody could watch. once you see it, you'll realize, you'll understand. Like, oh, this is why he said that. This is why he meant that. You
Oh,
know, the original was a lot more. Oh my god, my kids in the background. All right, you'll see that the original was a little bit more. How can I phrase this? It was a lot brighter and happier all
right.
around. This one was not. This one I found more realistic than anything than most of the other, superhero movie themes.
So do you think it was gritty or just
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, it
'Cause I
was.
know a lot of the fans, a lot of the DC fans have an issue with how he sees DC because they feel like it shouldn't be that gritty. It should be lighter.
Nah. Look, man, you have Shazam. Shazam will be your lighter side. That's it. You're good.
I still haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it.
You haven't seen Shazam? Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's on my list.
Oh, you're missing out. That was an amazing movie. Funny. I mean, the whole at the end when the bad guy is over here doing his monologue and they're like a mile apart in the sky. You just see Shazam like, I don't know what you're saying. I can't hear you. But he's still just going on and on and on. Oh, it was such an awesome movie.
Oh man. Oh, that's just fantastic. But like I said, I was supposed to see it in the theater when it came out, but it just didn't work out.
I don't even wait. No, I think I did see it in the movies. It feels like so long ago.
Angel says that he agrees with it when it that Superman should never be gritty.
Not true.
Unless
I don't know. Nah. What about
I think I'm on the same boat there. I think I'm on the same boat only because Superman stands for hope and all this and that, and I feel like when they go down this path, you kind of your universe kind of gets darkened. You already have a dark hero, which is Batman. It's a balance here.
Nah. Look, when Superman died and came back, everything was all dark and gloomy and crap. You got to have a little bit of darkness so that Superman can eventually find the light and wear his bright red and blue all over again. He has to go through his little dark phase. He just came back from the dead. He's got to give him time to stop being emo, and then he'll be all sunshines and rainbows again.
Oh, no. That is true, though. Well, see, that was the whole thing. That's why I feel like the death of Superman was so good, was because, you got this chance to see him fall and then come back and then be the black dark Superman.
Yeah. His next movie, maybe they'll show him changing into the original uniform. But right now, the dark gritty works. It works. It works for the story.
In this movie, he should have had the black uniform. So,
well, yeah.
I think he's talking more about Man of Steel, where he ended up.
Okay, fair enough. But still, you had to kill Zod. Otherwise, you end up in the same boat Batman is, that instead of, bringing legitimate justice to all these bad guys, no, you have a collection of them in this asylum over here. They just keep collecting, the collection just gets bigger.
And it's funny because I feel like I guess on TV, on movies and TV, people want to they want like a satisfying conclusion. And if you let the villain get away, I feel like most people are like, that wasn't satisfying.
Yeah, true.
I'm a comic person. I'm like, the bad guy gets away, especially if he gets away in a smart way. I'm like, why?
Well, I mean, in the comic books, nobody ever stays dead. So
that's true.
I get it. And if we're running on the same, trying to run on that same level, well, I don't know why everybody complaining when this is a comic book based movie when, hey, we're going to bring him back because people liked him. And then there you go. They write him back into this story. I mean, Superman died and came back in this movie. So theoretically, they could do the same to Zod.
Well, they kind of made him come back. If you think about it, if you look at the whole storyline for Superman versus all right,
so they bring him back.
I'm not nerding out. Let's start off with our first guest. Our first guest is Andrew Frank Rodriguez, and he is a favorite of ours. We see him at all the conventions. I have to talk to him about the whole convention things. I know we're missing conventions. The whole reason we started this show was because we're missing the conventions. And when people need somewhere to come and talk about their projects.
I miss the convention so much. Just walking around, looking at everything.
And Lou, because you did the interview with Andrew, that he's a map designer, he's a game designer, he's an artist. He's a jack of all trades. And now that I've introduced him, let's bring him in. Oh, Andrew, how you doing?
Hello.
Hello, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys are coming in choppy. You guys have been very choppy. So, yeah.
Don't worry,
when it comes to talking about projects and stuff, yeah, it just the funny thing is I miss the conventions. Oh my God, conventions! Like I truly miss the conventions. I expect me from one day from stop conventions every weekend to like nothing. It's like it was like a drug. We just could not like. I mean, it's like every single person who goes to those, with our geekiness. I was like, how Raph is doing? Oh, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, so I was like, how's Raph doing? How's Tom? And I just started naming off names. And Raph knows me since I was a convention here as well. He knew me like I was not at the table. My Carbo back in the day, and Spac Octane and Gray Sleeve, my family and all these, and they started me at, I believe, 20, and I'm 40 right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's been in the game for a while. He's been hitting conventions. He helps out behind the scenes in the conventions. And
nice.
more recently, he started to do the tables. So,
oh wow, nice. Coming in kind of choppy on my side too.
Oh, he is.
All right, so it's not.
I'm explaining what he just said.
Yeah, because all I kept hearing was he was talking, and then the only word I was catching was convention over and over and over. I mean, I feel you. I miss going there. I miss all of it too. But I don't know about this digital convention stuff. It's just not completely the same. Like I like this, I like this. This is cool. This is awesome. But a whole convention like this, I don't know. I don't know.
I was about to say, I think the conventions, these types of conventions work when you want to know about people. I feel like the artist alley aspect of the convention, which is a huge part of conventions, you lose it because how is the artist supposed to actually
What about those? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, most of my purchases at the cons have been impulse purchases. That's completely gone.
Yeah, because like we saw that map Andrew had and he was making, and I was like, oh.
I mean,
that would happen if you're like online.
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing, but in person, if I had money, yeah. Oh, I like this. I'll put this on my wall. Tell people I'm from Middle Earth. This is awesome.
But yeah, guys, oh God, I just miss you guys, man.
I miss the interactions too.
It's been.
I thought we had him for good.
It just froze.
No, but it has. It's been this whole thing. Okay, so he's kind of frozen right now. Well, I guess we'll see what happens when he comes back. Oh, there we go.
No. Yes.
Are we back? Because I also know he has a delay on his end.
Ah, okay. I know this week Spectrum had an outage around
Yeah,
here.
I'm just like just waiting for it to. But yeah, it's almost 20 years of just going in and learning and getting a good work ethic. Uh, also, I do miss like this, like, but I rather
Do it in
Be in
person.
person. Yeah. Sitting around
to
the
people.
table talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, soon. Being hopeful.
All right, so besides the fact that we all miss the cons, and I know we do, and I can't wait till they start up again. And I know Garden State Comic Fest had a successful. They actually were able to do a successful convention. It went well. They actually made money.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was safe, because they did a lot of things to make sure it was safe. They brought in these air filters. They made sure that everybody was separated. They actually did it in a mall with a lot of
Oh,
space.
nice.
Yeah. So,
So there's
sooner or later we should start being more normal again. Normal.
well, I don't know about me being normal, but I get what you're going. So there's hope.
So Andrew, love your maps. I love your art. You are an incredible artist, an incredible.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't remember the word for mapping, and it's the tip of my tongue. You probably know it better than I do.
Was it cartologist, something like that?
See, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't want to sound like I think I know everything, but that sounds about right to me.
I think he's trying to fix it. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Ah, like you get our hopes up,
how
and
it
then
is.
you're pausing for a big reveal.
Right now,
Yeah.
like
You're right. It does feel like a dramatic pause.
Yes. I mean, if you're about to reveal your new work, this is the perfect setup.
Yeah, you know what it is? I think
Alex,
D&D doesn't want him to reveal anything that he's done because he's working for D&D, and we want to know what's going on. And now the computer doesn't want us to know.
They've cast a spell on your laptop. Hold on, let me open this window.
I like the smile.
so anyway, yeah. Speaking of D&D, yeah, I'm making. I was at a book that I was. It was a Dungeons and Dragons project. It was in the world of Eberron. Eberron's one of the funniest things. Hopefully you get it. It was not something I was expecting. It was it was a dream project. I've always wanted to work for D&D, and I'm going to tell you right, too long. It's just like to the point where it's actually part of my like lifestyle, I guess.
Nice.
I just get a call from a friend of mine. We're just like yourselves, and all of a sudden it was. So that's my first D&D game called Rush, and developed. I had who wanted to make a game that was synonymous with everything he loved of 90s anime and 90s video games. I mean, even the art for that book.
I'm just staring at the book now.
It looks good.
It does.
Mega Man games, the old you get it working again. All right, but hopefully you get it. But yeah,
Oh, the good thing is that we're getting
it
enough
allows you to play
information
a
from you.
robot, different type of robotics. Yeah, and then the latest project I'm working on, Tim Hitchcock, he called me to do a 2-book. This is the one where, thank God. Hey, maybe one at a time. I don't. But
He's chopping up like crazy.
I know. This sounds awesome, though.
It happens, bro. Don't worry about it. You know, this is the whole problem with going live.
We're working through it. Don't worry. We're all good. At least it's not freezing while you're saying something embarrassing.
It's not freezing when I'm talking. No.
It doesn't freeze all the time. We get enough information from you so that I can actually tell people what's going on.
Yeah. I'm talking, and I don't know when to break it up.
Oh man!
Look, I'm gonna pull you out for a second. Okay.
All right.
Let's see if this works.
You hear me?
All right. Well, now it looks like we're working a little better.
Hello.
Let's see.
Hello.
Is that better?
Someone actually had to leave so this could work. Oh
yeah.
No.
You are perfect now.
Oh, don't tell me. See, this is. I don't want to take shots at another Apple sounding name, but just saying, don't have these problems with my PC. Just all I gotta say is I'm not taking shots with another Apple naming product.
Oh, it's funny because you're not even being that cocky anymore. You're actually very fluid now.
Oh. Is it weird? That's weird. Oh my God. It was just like, oh, too many screens. Like everywhere else in the world, they have like 5 or 6 screens. No problems. Apple? Oh no, it's more than one.
Oh man.
So I don't have anything against Apple. I have nothing against Apple. I don't know why they may find this and like, we like to do a job for you. No. Like,
we remember what you said.
knowing my luck, right? It was crazy. Like, I'm gonna explain this before. I love.
Oh, this is funny because
conventions.
Lou is like, don't have this issue on Google and Amazon.
Are you kidding me? Like it's just this product. Oh my $1 million.
Oh man.
Can't figure out more than one. Sorry. No, but let me just stop. I'm sorry, you guys were trying to both, and I was just like, guys. But okay, let me start from the beginning. Way from the beginning. Worked with Carbo at the conventions. And I did years and was attached with. I even did Mocha. I volunteered at Mocha. At Mocha, I love Mocha. Different feel, different. I always say each convention has a certain different quality, certain group, even a certain culture, right. And even behind the scenes culture, very different. You got guys who are nerdy. And then you have avant-garde artists, and you have fine art. Especially Mocha had like probably the best collection indie comic people I've ever met. But you know, I never wanted to stay in one thing. I've always wanted to do comic books. I've always wanted to do D&D games, and so I stuck to my guns. Now, the reason why I did the convention so long, and it had. I always believed that I wanted to learn every little aspect of the business. I really wanted to know how you labeled, how you pretty much the I my hospitality background for me to just to greet people and have a good time because I've always wanted to do that as well. I've always wanted to work at a hotel, and I've always had
Right.
like a hospitality. And my personality always was like I wanted to be more warm and welcoming. I like while you could never find a convention volunteer, I was always the one happy to like help out. And I think Ralph, you knew like, oh, you guys need chairs. You was like,
You helped us out a lot.
now, go ahead, Ralph.
I said, yeah, you helped us out a lot.
And yeah, and what was hilarious about it was I didn't find it as work. It was actually fun. Like it was to me, it was like it was just fun to be there. Oh my god! It's like I'm gonna tell you right now, I miss cosplayers. I miss to cosplay, just talking about technique
Oh yeah.
and talking about their characters, and even talking to characters allows you to learn about character design. Like even like there's just like a there was just information that I need to start comfortable into creating comic books and content and stuff like that. And I thought working at a convention could, pretty much like just how to think and how to like uh so many situations. And I really miss my conventions because I went from like doing all that, being very highly sociable, and then out of nowhere was gone. And so like I'm thinking I know you've been trying to get me on your at least like six months, but I've been working so much on this project. I was like I didn't want to slip up that I was doing it, and then I get that no and things get canceled. And the first project I did was showing was called Bus Rush. Bus Rush was a
Right.
game I pretty much played a game for a year. Thank you. And he decided, let's just write this down, writes a set of rules. He came up, he's a Booster Protocol Productions. He made his own company, and he was just starting out like he was starting out as let's just make Andrew, not Andre, Andrew. It's hope you're uh,
You're
seeing a
breaking
little,
up again.
but yeah, hilarious. Yeah, it's hilarious how we went from playing a game to like creating a game within 2 years. Like it went from like a game table to an actual product in 2 years. It was just like wanted. He knew what you were, but except for the cover. But I designed most of the game assets and and how it looks in the interior art. We
Right.
had initially artists for a front cover. It seems because I was also an art director there, and I didn't want to be the only artist in the book.
Right.
So it's amazing how that. We at that time we were playing Dungeons and Dragons at a store called The Complete Strategist on
Oh,
33rd
I know that
Street.
store very well.
Anyone who's a New York City or a New York gamer knows that pretty much it has community. It's one of before we even had like internet before we even. I'm not. Yeah, even before we've always had kind of talk about games, and so uh, uh, I walked in, said hello to Mike, and what friend, and I'm gonna wait until and he was. Now I've played Tim Hitchcock for since in 2001, like when I was just like a fledgling gamer, and Kingmaker, the Pathfinder is using. Like, he did a bunch of amazing stories with Paizo and he also worked with third edition and fourth edition. And so I I it was a I missed the opportunity to see him that day.
Right.
Lo and behold, going back a month later, he was right there at the same 7-Eleven that we usually like hang out in the corner to go to to complete strategist, and he basically asked me about my information because he's heard
Right.
that I did a book. He heard about me working a book that eventually got into Dynamite, that it uh, robots versus princesses, and that
Robots versus princesses.
2017, and that was with Todd Mathy. Very nice guy, Todd Mathy. You guys could check that out. That the princesses is just one of those. You know, it's just it was a very kid project. It was very wholesome
It sounds like it.
book, and of course you have to. I mean, princesses or the Transformers. Kind of partial, kind of partial to robots. So it's just like it was one of those things. So right now, it's funny that I'm not sure if I'm talking and then cutting, but what's hilarious is I feel, because speaking of like an 80s, I feel like I'm feeling like a Max Hedgen right now.
You
Like
read my mind because that's what he sound like, and I'm like, what the? But the good thing is that we're able to hear enough so we know where you're going. And of course, as we work through this, I will make sure to like repeat certain things.
Yeah. So yeah, Todd Todd had a book called Robots versus Princesses, and I met him like, and then within months it was COVID, and it was like in the midst of COVID, I got an offer to do a D&D book, and I'm gonna tell you right now, for a gamer like me, they're rolling a natural 20. That's rolling a natural 20 when the whole real world game is going to like the crapper. So it was just like a chance during the world, and it was uh April May. So it was like literally like my last check, my last, you know, and it was just like, uh, and all of a sudden, hey, do you want to do a D&D game? And I'm just like, I dropped my iPad, I dropped I had on the table, like, because I'm sorry to say, he gave me a book saying, hey, once you look at this stuff, see, I don't know what this book's about, and he said I need an editor, and I need some kind of like a to look at it. Since I've worked with Pronto and with Don and John Gorga, the most honest and brutal guys who just want to see you succeed, but they'll give you your
Yes, I
brutal
do.
honesty.
Mhm.
I basically took a lesson from those two guys and just let him kind of have it with the book. And it was like, and there was nothing wrong with the book except that it was just like any art that we couldn't use and art that he wanted to use that couldn't be used. If you want to use this art, you got to fight them. And then he goes, okay, you know, it's just like all like, excuse me, wait a second. Oh, so all my like, I didn't lose my cool. I lost all like pleasantries of like, oh my god, oh, think about it. I said no, I didn't. Uh, it is one of those stories where you just like I really couldn't. I couldn't explain it enough.
Right.
Oh my god, yeah, I just can't explain it enough on how great that project was. It baffled me that that happened to me. So like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I worked all these years, and I played D&D all these years, and I'm an avid fan. I think I don't I'm not a gatekeeper in any way where you have a preference of which system. I played all, and I enjoyed each and every system for what they have had offered and what they brought to the table and what they didn't bring to the table. It got better. So he gave me an Eberron setting, and it's the Eberron setting was called the Eberron setting. If you want to go purchase it, it's located guilds. It's called Covenant of the Cybermarked, and it is to me a murder mystery in the city of Sharn. So it kind of has the old like murder mystery Columbo, and it's amazing where people got. Yeah, bro, I get. Someone's hey Lewis, how you doing? But yeah, uh, I'm so happy to get this project that I put my whole heart to it. Like I had to cancel a project of mine, and then I completed another commission like really.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, I broke more nights figuring things out of that book that me going back and forth, and just the simple like what art should be there, what art shouldn't be there, and it's hard because I'm an artist as well, and I want my art to be in there as well, but
Right.
I had to be like no, maybe two of my drawings may if I mean cases where people are like, oh, I want to have my art in that one book. It's it I it's one of those projects where you just don't you really try to find, and he had a selection of best artists on his arsenal, and he had like he had, oh god, Che Sonia, he had like, god, he had like, he was just giving me names of people that are for like 20, 30 years, and I'm just looking at him like, and you want me to direct them? Like, it's like,
Wow.
but it's like, so it's like, I just started. He goes, Andrew, I think you can do it. And so right now it's available for purchase at DM Guilds. And Tim Hitchcock is one of those names you hear who, when you pretty much investigate him, he did a couple of great books for Paizo, and also he also actually helped in a couple of stories with Kingmaker. And I know right now Kingmaker is is an MMO game, and so I know for a fact that my friend, I'm gonna like that him also had from that game from when it was just a paper and pencil game, and so seeing it like when he said, "Oh, have you ever heard of King video game?" He goes, "No, I'm talking was pen," and I was like, "Yeah," and a lot of his stories I played, and then I read his stories. Like, wow, some of these stories are in the game as well. Like it's in the, and I fell in love with it, with like D&D because of the story aspect, and
Oh, I completely agree
reading
with
the
you.
story. Yeah, reading the story for Eberron just felt an amazing story for people who are mostly self included. It really did it did have like the murder hobo aspect, but also it had the murder mystery, problem solving, and puzzle solving aspect that you rarely see in like, except for the sitting down tabletop experiences. You
Right.
know, and I'm actually very happy to be associated with that. So, uh, if there's anything to ask, please, I but I know you want to talk, so
You know,
I'm
it's
sorry. I'm
amazing.
just
And
rambling.
no, I've let you talk because I feel like that's the best way to make sure that the computer allows you to speak. um
App, app. Oops, we don't. Oh, hold on.
but it's amazing that you actually got to work with, it's just one of those dreams come true. We played D&D for years and years, and then you actually get this dream. I was sympathizing when you were told, and you dropped your tablet and everything. I was like, oh my god, that is just must have been an amazing moment. And I feel you when you're
Yeah.
saying that, you would love to have seen your art there, but you have to like decide which way you want to go with this. Sometimes you have to like have one thing, and then you can deal with something later. Who knows? This might open avenues for you for later on, and which is what it is, because now you're working on a second project that we can't talk about.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, you heard that, right? Well, I know we can't talk about the project, but you can mention that you're working on the second project.
That's the thing. Like, I know we're the second we're pushing for like maybe some. I can't talk about the project,
Oh, I
but it's
know.
associated with the same company. Yeah, but it's associated with the same company that I'm working with right now. So,
That's good enough for
it
me, because that
starts with,
tells me
yeah. It
it's a second project with D
it
and D,
starts
and
with
I'm
a
like,
D.
oh.
It's an onion dungeon and a D and ag dragons. Like,
All right. So
but
I was gonna say, so we want to see your art. We
okay,
want to see your maps. We want to see all that stuff, and we have the interview with you from which convention was it? Well, we have the interview with you. I'm gonna put that in the link in the comments. If you want to put anything that you're talking about right now to
sure, sure, sure.
help, you can put it in the comments as well. That way people can go check out whatever it is you're talking about. But at the same time, I've got your Instagram flashing underneath us right here. Is there any other place where people can go to check
Yeah,
out what you're
Rodriguez
doing?
art. Yeah, yeah. It's my Instagram. I'm 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 heavily on Instagram right now. I try to use other like social media platforms, but I'm just very comfortable with Instagram because it's just instantaneously. Like I could get people in contact with me. But also Facebook, you can Facebook me at Andrew Frank Rodriguez Art on Facebook. So yeah, it's I have several projects that are in now. Two of them are my personal projects, and one map, large map. Ooh, it's a large map of a setting that I have to and paint and watercolor, and then have it scanned. Having it scanned in pieces because it's like a mural. It's like a wall mural on the wall, but also it's going to be in a. But yeah, those are the projects that I have now that are not associated with the people I can't talk about that are
Right.
a onion and a
Yeah.
agons. Just
And I know one of the good things, because
it's
I've talked to
amazing.
you about doing a project for me, is that people can actually commission you to do stuff.
Hmm. Just contact me through my contact me through Facebook or Instagram, and I usually personal message people my information. Unfortunately, due to COVID, I had slowed down commissions. The mail was pretty much, even the mail
I
wasn't
thought so.
moving as well. Yeah. So I feel bad for EU folks who, like, I have a bunch of friends of mine from the EU who I can't. Yeah, I know. Uh, Remember? Oh, I can't right now.
'Cause I saw
It's
before, like you're mentioning your friends and whatnot. I saw before that on your
complete.
page, you kept popping up all this stuff you were doing, and I have to admit they must miss the fact that you can actually do this stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing that, like, I can. It's amazing that I can get people who want to do characters for their games, and like I always tell them, give me your character story. Like, not the because people would literally give you like a novel. This is my character,
Oh yeah.
and so and, and I have to draw like a character based on a novel that I've read some of these character backstories and their adventures. I'm like, you should be publishing this. This is really good,
Exactly.
and and it just doesn't cross their mind. Like, I just like, guys, you have a self-published. You should publish this. But it is
Oh
a little. Yeah. It's a little, those little clients that I love, but makes my job great. It's the clients
yeah.
who just love what I do, and I know that they know that I love the same stuff. Uh, and it's a good thing to know people who have like some character design. And I mean, right now it's the let your geek flag fly. And
Yeah, that's how it is now. It
uh,
wasn't like that before. Before we got punished for
yeah,
it. All right, so
I have a
I
friend of
have my
mine.
show,
Yeah, I have
written writ, and
a
I'm gonna have you
commission for
on
him right
because
now.
I'm doing some stuff on D&D, and you've hit upon it here on while we've been talking, is that a lot of these people who do the D&D, they should be writing this stuff. They should be putting it out there, because I feel like D&D was one of the ways that helped me become a writer, or a better writer than I was before, because it helps you break down these stories. First, you're doing your own character story, as you play. Then you're creating universes as you become a DM, and it really like moves you forward in a certain way. It helps in a lot of ways. So I'm gonna have you come on with me onto the written writ. For now, just so we can move on because we're running out of time here. Tell them where they can find you, um, and we will see you again on the written
Yeah,
writ, and probably here on this show.
hopefully I'll have a better setup instead of this. But like, the only word I usually give to people, you have to be out there. You literally, like, I am like the classic example of a person who went and did the work and actually went. I mean, even places where I didn't think I was going to be 5 years or 10 years, got to work with very fabulous, doing fabulous projects, doing amazing work.
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you right now, like the most negative thing I can tell you about this industry is, uh, it's you deadlines, you have to show your work, you have to work a lot, and it's a negative because a lot of people think that's a negative. A lot of great examples of great art, even artists who are okay, they actually, and always consider myself an okay artist because when I think of art, I don't think of myself. I think of like the people I read as a kid, and they probably have the same thought themselves. Uh,
Right.
you have to really make those deadlines. You really projects. You really have to commit to yourself. You really have to invest in yourself to become better at what you're doing because you're the only one. I mean, a good your best self promoter, your best you're your best asset. And if you feel that your skills are lacking, work on them and practice them. I'm My maps are great. I love my maps, but even I see other map artists and feel kind of like envious. So if you needed a map and someone said, "Well, I don't like your work," I'm like, "Well, I know a couple of another map artist that you may like if you like his style.
That's pretty cool. You.
Devoid of ego. Yeah, be devoid of ego. Like ego really destroy your opportunities. Like literally, ego could destroy your opportunities.
I
So
agree
like
with you
I
because
took my
sometimes just because somebody doesn't like your work, that doesn't mean anything because that stuff is preference. There's certain artists I don't like that people love, and I'm like, I don't see it. And same thing, certain artists I love that people look at it and go, I don't see it. That's just what it is. It's preference.
yeah, it's preference. And if I always believe like ego is one of those things. You have to literally take ego out the room when it comes to people looking at your work, because I have friends of mine who be like, I don't know how you hired, and I have other friends who are like, oh my god, you're effing amazing. See, I didn't curse, but and it is one of those things. Yeah, it is one of those things where you know, uh, from working at the shows to working now and actually being at a table, I think I learned that lesson because there was a lot of people, guys. I'm gonna just say right now, volunteers talk. They just do, like you know, and the reason why like a lot of people like, well, why don't they like me anymore? You may have just like heard the wrong person that day or said
Oh,
something weird or yeah, and that's like my anxiety. Like that is my anxiety. Like I try to do my best. You know, and I love artwork. I love where people are coming from. I love, especially in D&D. Like right now, there's a huge. Is pretty much everybody wants to have their representation,
yeah,
and I understand that because I'm a Latino dude playing D&D since like forever,
I
and
feel you
my
there.
character is going to be like a kid or I'm from Forgotten Realms. Where's a place that's commonly looks like where it commonly looks like people like I come from? Well, you could go to Sham,
Exactly.
or you could go to or you could there, or you could go to like or you could go to like Masteka if you want to look like a guy from Masteka, and or like and people are like,
It's
wait, what he
doable.
just
Yeah,
named? I said, yeah, I was like, I just named Forgotten Realms settings where Latinos would pretty much
would be.
be, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to be. Oh, I look like a Latino elf. Then you have to go to Tether because there's a lot of wood elves kind of have that Latino back in the day. the guy who drew him pretty much looked like, hey, Jim Montoya, prepared to die, but with elf
Yeah.
ears. You understand?
It's funny. That's exactly what I was thinking about. Yeah. It's doable, but you just got to figure out how you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right,
So
Andrew, with that,
I think that's I think that's the great thing about D&D. You can literally think of your characters. You can place any kind of setting, any kind of backworld, real world. I already talked about representation. So if you're feeling that it's just an old boys club or old girls club, or even an all club excluding it's really not anymore. You can go in there, create your books, create your characters,
yep.
and everything is welcomed. Like it's amazing, like how many great characters that I've played with over the years, from friends, family, and even strangers at conventions, because I also play at conventions, who have in-depth character design, and I look at them like, guy, you have to write that. That
Exactly.
character needs to be represented. That's your representation. And so even I have a couple of superheroes that I would love to have like a Latino game. Like I would love to have like a guy, guys who look like conquistadors, or guys who had from Azteca, and I know like is very heavily on Spanish and Spaniard culture. I know Mixteca is very influenced in old Aztec, old Mayan, and old like indigenous cultures of the Mesoamerica. So it's due to D&D. So a great game, also the great board game too. But you're gonna have to work and find your audience, and then have an audience that was willing to pay you to do it. Yeah.
It's exactly what you were saying before. You just got to put the work into it. And it's funny. Yeah, because I feel like that's the whole message, and I feel like your message is important because a lot of people, I feel like they don't put the work into it. Then they decide, oh, this isn't working, but you really didn't put the work into it. But Andrew, with that, I'm gonna let you go because I got to move on. But we are gonna have you back here, and we are gonna have you on the Written Rig because I'm doing a special D&D written where we're going to be talking about the whole concept of the fact that I feel like D&D helps you become a better writer, helps you become a better actor, because these are all the things that you are doing in D&D. So Andrew, I will be in touch with you. We'll talk soon. Hopefully next time we can get this glitch off because you have a lot of important things to say.
And then all of a sudden it just went, hi. Bye. It just went crazy. So I'm gonna tell you right now, follow me, guys. If you need to personal message me, just figure the time zone. But I'm open to any kind of suggestion you guys want to create, and I hope you guys, out there take the story, and I'm going to say success because with a question mark, because I don't know anymore what's, but just one of those things because I'm praying to go back to the tables. Hell, even if I have to do volunteer and see Raph, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Just remember, whatever you want to make sure that they know, put it into the messages. And we'll see it, and I'll take it from there, and I'll put it in other places.
Sure. And but if you want me to do that map for you, I'm a big Vampire Masquerade fan, so.
Oh my God! Yeah, I created my own universe. I have my own city. It's my own game, and I really want to see what the city looks like. So I'll talk to you. All right, Andrew. I'll see you.
Yeah,
all right?
Yeah. I'm not everybody's.
Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Okay. Bye.
What are you coughing for? You should have known you were coming back.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, so I try to work with it. I put him up by himself, and that seemed to help out for a lot. And
I was watching.
Everybody got to hear what he had to say because he's an amazing guy. He has an amazing art. I know you did an interview with him, so I wanted to hear what you wanted to say, before we move on.
Yeah. Oh,
because I know you were back there going, I want to say something.
Well, yeah, I was chiming in with the in the chat.
I saw, yeah, I mean, a couple of them up.
So he was talking about the representation and Latinos and these. I think he said the wood elves, and I just pictured a little old lady elf with a giant mighty chancleta as a warrior. Because maybe with a belt just hanging off the side. But yeah, his work is amazing. That when I did that interview, I was just awestruck by the detail he puts into his work. And I, just listening to him now, I didn't realize how many different mediums he uses to color this.
Oh yeah, he that's one of the reasons why I wanted him on the show. It was just because, he is an amazing artist. He's an amazing worker. His work is just amazing, and that's why I want to see my Vampire the Masquerade done in his mapping skills.
Yeah,
I've created that world, and I would love to see what it looks like.
I agree. With the skill that he has. Oh yes, definitely. And I completely relate. You've seen my work, and you see I'm not crazy about my own work.
That's what most artists are, and that's why I keep telling you, as we're working on Hugbert, you need to get the Hugbert done, because then you'll see how good you are.
Well, I have been redrawing another pic that my missus saw in one of my sketchbooks that she just loved. It was something I did. It's just all pen, it's all ballpoint pen. So now I'm just redrawing it to keep busy on a bigger scale. And then my boss saw it, and now she wants to see the finished product. So now I have all kinds of pressure on me.
Not just me. There's other people. See, I
know. I'm getting it from everywhere now. All it is.
Just know that. All right, so let's move on to Joe, because he's been patiently waiting back there.
Okay.
Joe I met him because we did improv with him. Me and Catherine actually did improv with him.
Nice.
He was part of the production that we were in, and he's an amazing guy. He's an actor. He does Renaissance Fair. He actually does stage combat. He's the guy you want to have when you're actually doing D&D and you want to see it come to life.
Okay, all right. The man in many hats.
Exactly. And with that, I'm going to bring him on. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Hello.
I'm all right. Can you guys hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Like I was just saying, I met you when we were doing the improv.
That's right.
I had a blast, and it was an interesting experience. I tell people all the time that they need to do improv, even if you're not an actor. I feel like it's an amazing experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if
we're talking specifically for D&D and games, D&D, Dungeons & Dragons, tabletop games as a whole are nothing but improv. It is a collaborative improvisational story that everyone is telling at the same time. It's part of why there are so many live plays starring voice actors, because it's the skill that they already know how. They just also know how to work a microphone.
I completely agree with you. I keep talking about the benefits of D&D, especially because as I became a writer, one of the things that formulated my writing was because I did D&D, and I started off creating your own character. And you need to know the backstories. You need to know what you're doing. Then from there, when you become a DM, you're creating universes. And as a writer, this is actually an incredible process, because you're starting off and flowing into bigger things.
Absolutely.
And as an actor, it's amazing because you actually get to act. And
well, people get
more fluid acting.
Yes, people get very intimidated by improv. Even professional trained actors are getting, where's my script? They fall apart. Improv is not challenging. I've been an improv teacher. I've been an improv director at Renaissance fairs and in general theater. What we're doing right now is improv. Every conversation is improv. The only thing that makes it theatrical, or for that matter, a game, is take the filter of a character and put that on top of the improv. It's really not challenging. We all do it naturally.
You just have to change the perspective for it.
Exactly. Point of view.
There you go.
That's exactly it. It's all about point of view. It's all about what's going on, and it's funny because even even though it's more accepted now, I still get that weird D&D, and it comes from the weirdest people. I'm like, you're an actor. You act these things out all the time, and you're like D&D. What the heck? You do exactly what I'm doing.
Yep.
Well, let me ask. When was the last time any of you guys played D&D? Yeah, I had that same response.
We just skipped this past weekend because a couple of our players had a bunch of things to do. But the week before, I've got a regular game that I do on. I have one regular standard 5th edition game that I am in.
Nice.
That plays weekly. I play with a bunch of my fellow actors and my fight master, who I teach with. That game is a regular game, and also for the past close to 9 years now,
Ooh.
I have been running a game I've been running a game that is a non-standard game, to say the least. It uses the Pathfinder First Edition system and is set in the Pokemon universe.
Nice.
Whoa, that's an interesting mixture.
It's one of my players blogged about it. I can pimp that here. Check out wigglewiggleBreak.blogspot.com. He's incredibly funny and an excellent writer. He plays a 37-year-old retired electrician whose wife divorced him.
Oh wow, a little reality mixed in. Okay.
Well, his idea was, okay, why do we never see Ash's dad? What's the trope there? It's not
Exactly.
Ash's dad, but it's the same basic kind of character.
Well, isn't the professor his father? That's why he sends him away.
Yeah. There's
something going.
a weird tension between the mom and the professor, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
Well, not just Ash. Every Pokemon game, except for one, your dad's out of the picture. Why? So that's the character he made. But anyway,
It's the professor. He's everybody's father.
he gets around.
Just like that nurse.
Exactly.
oh
So
man.
yeah, I play pretty regularly, but yeah.
Nice.
That's what I like to hear. I don't get to play that regularly. I actually miss it.
Yeah.
But I understand that one of the big things that I've always understood, especially as we got older, was that the game starts to become second to all the responsibilities you have. And that's not even and that's not even like counting the entertainment stuff that we do.
Well, I think that's part of why, for the past year, during this pandemic, especially for me and my fellow actors and my fight master, and none of us have been allowed to work since last March.
Oh.
Our entire job is fitting as many people in a small that's my website. Our entire job is fitting as many people in a small space as possible to watch us speak loudly and right in each other's faces. And in the case of stage combat, literally make physical contact. We haven't been allowed to work in a year. So for myself and many of my friends, like D&D over Zoom was one of the few things we could do. So talking about life responsibilities, we haven't had any life responsibilities. We haven't had anything to do. Even now, it's for the past 5 years, I've been a theater professional. I've been producing my own show. That has been actually rather inspired by that show we did all those many years ago. I do my own that's vaguely similar now. And it's called A Sketch of New York, and it has become extremely successful. And right up until the pandemic, it was something of a New York rite of passage. I've worked with something like 3,000 actors in the 4 or 5 years before the pandemic started. But since then, between that, I am a stage combat teacher. I do the Renaissance Fair. None of those things have happened in the past year. So D&D was a good outlet.
That everything you do seems to have some kind of social aspect to it. So you must be like, ah!
I think I've actually seen you at the fair.
It's been stressful. Even now, like apparently some small theaters are being allowed to open, but only at 33% capacity. The problem with that is that 33% capacity is not enough to survive the profit margins of any theater you will ever find. So, like, technically we can work.
You can go through the motions.
But we're not. But we'll go broke if we do.
Ew.
So
yeah, because I've been in those small theaters when we were doing the improv, and if you're gonna make it less than what it already is, because it's already small as it is as an audience, I can just imagine it'd be like 2 people in the audience.
It wouldn't work. My show is it's like half improv but more sketch comedy,
Right.
and yeah, we're not going to be allowed to work until we can be in full capacity, like all restrictions lifted safely. It's just not possible, and the unemployment insurance is expiring. So fun, but
Oh, lovely.
Well, at least we got that extension, at least until August.
yeah, but it hasn't actually gone through yet, so we'll see.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
man.
man.
So
Yeah,
like, yeah,
Well,
D&D
I've had a lot of my actor friends be you know, they're in a tough spot right now, especially any of my Broadway friends, and they're like, you know, because they haven't worked at all for like a year.
I was
Oh.
working on a Broadway show, and that Broadway show was the first Broadway show to announce that they would not be reopening
Wow.
when
Oh.
things relifted. We only had 13 previews. We never even officially opened. There were 13 previews with audiences, and then everything closed. It was a good show, too.
How were the reviews for your previews?
They were good. I mean, well, that's the thing. You're not allowed to release reviews until previews are over. That's part of the whole Broadway preview deal. You can't actually that's part of what previews are for. So the critics can watch the shows and then release their review when you open, so people come see it. So the run isn't over by the time the critics see it.
Yeah.
But it was an excellent show. Martin McDonagh's most recent play, Hangman. It was a wonderful, wonderful show. Lots and lots of fun and good stunts. Like, I'm a fight choreographer. It's what I do, and that's what I was called in for. And I wasn't the fight choreographer, but I was assisting my fight master on it, and they dropped me through a trapdoor to hang me several times before they could tell that it was safe for the actors to do. And it was a great show. So funny. The actors were a joy to work with. The lead was the guy who plays Robert Baratheon on Game of Thrones, and it was cut short too soon. But so it goes.
Will it be released digitally DVD for
Probably
anybody?
not. Theater usually isn't. We'll see what happens when things come back. Maybe they'll bring it back. I don't know, but
Oh man.
Yeah, that bugs me out though, because they you know, you end up planning all this stuff, and you end up doing all this stuff for the show to come out. You know, I understand when it doesn't come out because, you know, you have a couple of shows and it doesn't do well, but the show didn't even come out, so you know that's a bad spot to be.
especially for a Broadway show, they threw so much money at building those sets and building trapdoors and things that flew in and a secondary stage on top of the stage, and you know, so many people were getting paid, and they never made their money back because the show never opened.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. That's actually part of why they closed, because legally they would have had to continue to pay people until they were able to open again. So they had to say, we're not coming back because we can't afford it.
Yeah, because I remember the first
I
couple
did
of
not know
months,
that.
that's what they were doing. They were actually paying people, and they weren't doing it.
Well, because we were supposed to only be closed for 2 weeks. See how that worked out? Anyway.
At a time. Damn.
So yeah, I've had free time.
I can tell because, you know, well, let's see, you got the Broadway, you can't do that. You got the Renaissance Fair,
Yep.
that didn't happen. You know, you got the improv and the skit comedy, that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. You haven't been doing much of anything for the past couple of months.
Well, I have. I've been keeping myself busy.
You have.
I've
like
been keeping myself busy,
game
not just
creating?
playing D&D. I've been planning for my theater company to reopen, and I've been putting shows together and preparing for that as soon as we get the go-ahead. We have absolutely no timeline on when that will actually be. But when it does, we'll be ready.
Well, see, that much I knew you were doing because, you know, that's just the life of what you guys do. You know,
Right.
you're always preparing for the next show. You're always preparing for the show you're in, or you're always making it better.
Right. The other thing I've been doing, however, while waiting, you know, in a nonstop holding pattern for theater, is I've been stretching out into independent game design. And I've actually been making and producing a tabletop card-based board game that has been very exciting, and I've been really enjoying doing. And I've been in the process of producing. I'm actually at the moment I'm paying artists and gearing up for a big crowdfunding Kickstarter campaign. But all the playtesters have shown it to have really enjoyed it and think it actually has a lot of professional legs. This thing has a lot of potential, and I'm really stoked for it. It is an industry that is completely alien to me from the actual producer's side of things, however. So I'm really just breaking in. You were talking to your previous your previous guest about conventions and how much you guys all enjoyed them. I was never a conventions guy. I've been to a couple. I went to MagFest for a couple of years when I was doing a web series, review series that was popular at the time. A couple of years back, we were producing one, and you talk about the social element. The social element is one thing of my career I've never been good at. I've never been good at marketing myself. I tend to try and let my work speak for itself. But
I can respect that.
Yeah, but so now I'm trying to work my way in, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to see how this actually works, what goes into making a successful Kickstarter. But the game itself is really solid. I've really been enjoying it. I can give you the elevator pitch for it if you like.
Go for it.
So,
Definitely.
I've always loved wargaming. I've always loved the genre. I've loved the concept. Video games, certainly, absolutely. I've always been a huge fan of video game war games. The Total War franchise is one of my favorite franchises ever. Total Warhammer is one of my favorite games ever. Mountain Blade Bannerlord is an early access game that was so good, I bought a new graphics card to continue to play it, and subjected myself to the agonies of trying to play an early access alpha release game with mods that update every month, but it's an excellent game.
I know your pain. I've been there.
They just updated. Looks like I'm going to have to spend 4 hours trying to figure out which of my mods is broken today.
Exactly.
The Command and Conquer series. I love wargaming. I have also loved tabletop gaming and D&D, in-person gaming, board games. Love them. So I would love to be able to get into some of the big-name war games that are out there. Armies cost about $2,000 each. The rule book is about 400 pages long. Games take like 6 hours to play. And because of that, even if I could get into the game, even if I did all that, I'm not going to find anybody else who does.
That's going to be difficult, yeah.
And to top it all off, none of those other games really felt right to me. Like I love Bannerlord. Couple things I would do differently. I love Total War. I wish I could be in the, on the ground, feeling that first-person experience and still able to command other people. So I'm not just playing one. I'm not playing. I love the tabletop game, but I'd love to not pay $2,000 and read a 400-page book to figure out how to play it. So what if there was a game that had no expensive minis to buy and paint? Also, because I'm not a good painter. I can probably learn, but I live in Manhattan. I ain't got room for that. So what if there was a game that had no expensive minis to buy and paint? Thank you. No, a rule book that was 16 and a half times shorter, that it caps out with flavor text at 30 pages, that games take at most 2 hours.
Okay.
All through the use of a Magic the Gathering style card-based system with a starter deck that'll max out at $30, $40, $5 booster packs, and can be played on a 1-inch grid.
I'm sold.
Okay. So this is the game that I've been developing. I've tentatively named it Fantastic Tactics: The Endless War, and it is just that. It's a card-based system using a 1-inch grid. And with 2-inch by 3-inch cards, and it's the only things you need are a single D6, a way of keeping track of your life, and the basic rules, because all the rest of the complex rules of how this unit works are written on the card.
Oh, self-explanatory. You can't go wrong with that.
It's all right in front of you, just like the super complex. And it allows for a lot of complexity. Magic the Gathering, what are the rules? Read the card. That's the rule. It's right. You're not going to be flipping through, okay, this is referenced on page this, that does this to, oh my God, where's the damage table? It's just roll a d6, add their offense, subtract their defense, a couple of specific modifiers, and that's it. People have really loved it. I've kind of got investors lined up already. Everyone I put it in front of has
the
really enjoyed
comments
it.
already are like going crazy over here.
I've gotten supported by Tabletop Simulator on Steam, so I can play online as well. And I am right up. I've polished up the rule book. I've just published this, written a second edition of it. The part I'm up to now is art, because that gets expensive. Especially if I'm going for that sort of epic fantasy Magic the Gathering hyper-realistic look.
Yeah.
I have put together an entire 87 card set for the launch set, and I have planned at least part of the next 7 sets. So this has legs. I'm trying to strip away the obtuseness. I'm trying to take the vertical learning curve away from wargaming, and I'm trying to make it so that you can play even if you only have $15 to buy a couple booster decks and 2 hours, as long as you have a table that you can fit a 1-inch grid on. And people really, really like it. I am gearing up for the Kickstarter. I don't have the Kickstarter yet because I really want it to look good. I've been doing a lot of research into this industry. Like I said, it's not normally my industry, but I see people that are like, I'm asking for $10,000 and they get funded by $2 million in the first day. How the hell do you do that? So I'm trying to make sure that I look good enough to do that. I do have some art. I've gotten, I think, 6 or 7 images so far. I'm trying to get, like, double that roughly so that I at least get a representation of what the 87 card set will look like. Right. And then once I get that, I need a social media manager. I need a bunch of things that I'm not normally myself good at. I'm a director. I know how to how to coordinate things. I know how to be a visual artist. Stage combat choreography, like I said, is my bread and butter. And I have always had a head for game design. It's something I've always done for fun, as a hobby. I mentioned my Pokemon Pathfinder game. I've also made...
I was about to say, yeah, that alone says something.
I've also... No, I can tell you even better. I also made full, complete sets for the first 7 generations of Pokemon. I not only have every single Pokemon up to Gen 8 as a Magic the Gathering card, I have over 1,500 cards. I'm just going to say it. I have over 1,500 cards that I've made. I print them for fun. I bring them to Friday Night Magic sometimes on where I am, and people are like, you've got to be kidding me. You got to sell these. Nintendo would sue the hell out of me. I'm not doing that. But I am having... But, like, it's something that I've been doing for the past decade. So I understand game balance. I understand game design. I love wargaming. This is something I can do, I thought to myself about 6 months into the pandemic, when there was still no end in sight. And I've done it. So yeah, I'm still in the holding pattern in terms of when I can kickstart, but I do have a Patreon for myself as a whole. That applies to A Sketch of New York. I have an individual Patreon for A Sketch of New York, but just for me as an artist, I do voiceover work. I do. I'm a director. I'm a stage combat choreographer. I'm a stage combat teacher. I'm a good old fashioned actor. I'm a producer. I do all these things. So I have that Patreon account. And also, I'm working on game design in them because right now I'm breaking the first law of investment. Don't invest too much of your own money. But I am doing it. I'm paying artists right now. I'm paying artists. I'm paying visual designers. And on my Patreon, I have posted the first few cards that I have gotten and paid for. I think I sent you that. I think I sent you that link. There's a post on it that has a preview of the first few cards that I have. I have the rule book, and I'm not ready to open it up to public testing yet because the proof of concept cards, those first 87 cards I put together, I made them all. They look beautiful. They are made out of art that I just nabbed off the internet. I don't actually own any of that art, so I can't publicly distribute that. And I can't ask for money for it yet until I get more art, which, as I said, I am doing. I can do private playtesting, though, with people with the understanding of don't share this, and no, I'm not asking for money for this. No money is changing hands until I get to this point. So if people become Patreons, I am, like I said, supported by Tabletop Simulator. So even if you don't live in Manhattan with me and can't come in person to playtest, fire up your Steam. Tabletop Simulator is a great program if you don't have it already, and if you like tabletop gaming, it's $20, and it has support for pretty much any game that you could possibly imagine. It's an excellent game. I have just to be clear, I have no official collaboration with them. I just got my game supported by them and they're an excellent program. But I can play test with anybody that way. Like I said, people love the game, and that's largely what where I am right now. I actually, as soon as I'm done here, while I was in the waiting room, got emails from a couple of other artists who are sending me more images. So I'm working on it. But that's what I've been doing.
That, yeah.
busy man.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you are busy.
I've got nothing else to do. I can't work.
So you kind of lied. You said you weren't doing nothing during the pandemic, but you were doing stuff.
I wasn't doing nothing for my main career that I've built over the first 36 years of my life. And so I'm branching out.
Oh man, I have to admit, you got the message boards over here jumping. People seem to like what you're talking about. That says a lot right there. We have your Patreon running around the bottom of the screen on the bottom there. So if people want to support you and get this game out there, because I know what you're trying to do, because it's the same thing I'm trying to do with the project I'm working on with Lou, called, about my superhero teddy bear, where you want to get what you want them to see so they can see it in the right light of what you have created.
And really, that's my biggest obstacle, I think, is because, like I said, I'm not really a convention guy, or haven't been. I'm more than willing to be, but it was never my vibe, per se. I'm too much of an introvert sometimes. I am not really a part of any major gaming or wargaming communities. If I were, it'd be relatively easy to spread the word.
Yeah.
So if you like this idea, and you are a member of those communities, and you want to see this happen, I could use your help to make it happen. Spread the word. Tell people about this. Direct them to my Patreon, and the sooner I can get that, I can get enough of that using my stimulus check on it to get the art funded, then the sooner I can get a true Kickstarter up and running and actually give you back something for it. Because I want this to be the kind of thing that people do, if not on Friday nights at their local game store, then maybe on Saturday nights or something. Because if I can, I'm trying to revolutionize the wargaming industry. Because it is a game genre that I have always loved and have never felt allowed to be a part of. Because of money, because of time, because of the incredibly steep learning curve that is nearly vertical, and because of, let's be honest, frequently a sense of, like, if not superiority, a lack of friendliness to outsiders for people who are already in the community. Let's be clear. I mean, certainly not a universal, but it's common enough that it makes going to your local game store a chore sometimes.
It does.
Yeah,
I have to admit. Yeah, it
does. So I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to change nerddom. And I can't say anything about this yet because it isn't officially happening yet, but my primary skill set is in theater, voice acting, and things like that. I may or may not be planning some multimedia programs that can help get the word out for this, that may or may not also be the type of stream that has become popular more so in the pandemic, that is of gaming systems that maybe or maybe don't also rhyme with the ones your previous guest was mentioning, that also use the game system, possibly, maybe. Look, this is a brand new idea. I'm trying to see if it fleshes out, but we'll be announcing that on my Patreon too if it happens.
All right.
Speaking of the devil,
I didn't say any words. I'll be honest. I love Games Workshop products. I would love them more if I was rich. I'm not going to badmouth them. In fact, Tabletop Simulator has allowed me to play a lot of those games and learn, finally, how to play the games I've always wanted to.
Right.
I do enjoy them. I enjoy them greatly. I think my game is different. I think my game is... I obviously think my game is better, or I wouldn't be making it. But I don't want to badmouth Warhammer. I genuinely do love it. And Total War Warhammer is one of my favorite video games ever made. It's just... I want to take away the hurdles that have always prevented me from actually getting into it.
I know what you're saying, because I loved the Warhammer for ages, and I tried getting into it, and
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Those statues aren't cheap.
They have a different business model, and their business model works. They get the specifically obsessed, dedicated hobbyists who are willing to spend thousands of dollars on physical things and then spend hours of their life painting them, because that's what they
like to
vibe
do.
with. And I do respect that. Totally fine.
Yeah,
That's never been
absolutely.
why I wanted to get into wargaming. I love strategy. I love fun. I love the sense of epic battles. I love D&D, but sometimes I don't want to play an individual. And let's be honest, the mass battle mechanics for D&D has never been something they've quite gotten right in any edition.
No.
So-
Once you get past 4 or 5 people, it gets weird.
Right. And so I'm trying to fill a need that doesn't exist because thanks. Because when I was in college, when I was a poor college student, I'm still poor, but when I was a poor college student, I had a friend who would go into Target and shoplift Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic cards, and we never did, but like $5 occasionally was something we could afford. And that's like, we want to play your games. I'm trying to fill the need that somehow doesn't exist. I was astonished when I first came up with this idea. I was like, somebody's got to be doing this already. It seems so obvious. Nobody is. Nobody's doing it. And what's really important to me also about the game is I do see some things that try to simulate something vaguely similar, but it's never quite. The 1-inch grid and being able to maneuver and move on the grid and being able to see where your battle lines are forming and shore up that flank over here and moving on the grid is an essential element of the. Like I said, I love wargaming. I love strategy games and controlling the field of battle. It's just something nobody's doing, and not accessibly. And I'm astonished at that. So I'll do it. Be the change you always want to see in the world. I have this idea. It seems to work.
I like that.
People like it a lot. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you about your game. Is it like a futuristic or is it like a modern war?
Well,
I was waiting to see if you gave details. I don't know if you want to yet.
Fantasy, specifically.
Okay.
In your relatively standard sword and sorcery, the first set, like I said, the first 3 starter decks that I have are elves, dwarves, and humans. Except something else that I've always never quite found satisfactory in my wargaming. War games, in particular, always want to put you in a box, as I've noticed. They always make you play one side.
Okay.
You are tribally, you play lizard men. You just get lizard men. You're playing, you know what I mean? You get dwarves. You're just playing dwarves. One of the great advantages of a deck building system, there's nothing stopping you from mixing and matching. If you want to. Are there bonuses for this card gives you a +1 of offense to all your human units? Yeah, absolutely. Fine. You don't have to do that. The flexibility and the ability to create exactly what you want is one of the things I've always loved about Magic the Gathering and other deck building games. Like, nobody does that in wargaming. So, like, the game is peripherally about how the political racial lines have always been a major part of sword and sorcery games ever since Tolkien, right? They were a major element of of Tolkien, but what's really important to the lore of the game and also the mechanical structure of the game is how that all breaks down and everyone eventually ends up cooperating in your particular army, should you so choose to. Yeah, you can also play racially. But, so yes, it is fantasy, but I'm also sort of lampshading the fantasy tropes a bit. I like, yeah, exactly. I had an hero deck. I had I what was I saying? I particularly like that element of deck building creatively.
Right.
Let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, for example. A friend of mine had because the theory crafting is also really important to me when you're thinking of strategy gaming. Like, how do these things work together? For the Yu-Gi-Oh fans in the house, my best friend had a Yu-Gi-Oh deck that combined Ojamas with Exodia. How did that happen? And yeah, this is gonna go
over me, yeah.
Ojamas were an incredibly stupid they're basically little snotlings, like tiny vanilla creatures, but they were really good at pulling other cards out of their deck and summoning more of them. And Exodia is a 5-card combo that if all 5 parts exist in your hand, you automatically win. So he would use these BS little Ojamas to just pull everything out of his deck to increase his chances of drawing those 5 cards, and somehow the deck worked. I never would have planned something like that. But that theory crafting and creativity is where the essence of deck building games is, and that's not represented at all in wargaming, in something that is theoretically about constructing your army. that sense of individualization. That's how Games Workshop can get away with charging so much money, because you painted this little guy. You feel a personal connection
Exactly.
to this little guy. I love him. I want to be, great. So how can we do that affordably? Let you create your army from scratch based on a couple of options and think about how these work together. And I'm planning this strategy. And then when you pull that off, there's that sense of pride. There's that sense of personal connection to your army. And you will seek out, I need this one card. I'm going to pull 3 packs to get it. So it is, to answer your question more directly, what's the setting? It's a fantasy setting. It does have some elements of world building in it that are more interesting than your standard Tolkien sword and sorcery.
Right.
Okay.
I am not boring. That said,
definitely not.
But that said, also I want to try and keep a certain level of appeal for the people who come in wanting to play dwarves. Well, we should give them what they like about dwarves. If they have that sense of personal connection to the concept of dwarves already, fantastic. I'm not going to lampshade that and throw out what they like about it completely just for the sake of being original. So I'm trying to shoot for that middle ground between overly creative and overly repetitively pedantic that I like to call iconic.
Okay.
One of the great things about this game's system, though, there's nothing technically preventing me from adapting it to any setting or to any setting or genre.
All right.
The system itself is extremely intuitive and extremely simple. I'm intentionally it's simple without sacrificing complexity, if that makes any sense at all.
That works.
The core rules are very, very simple. The core rules are basically built around the idea of roll a d6, add your offense, subtract their defense, and you deal damage to their troops. Based on the number of troops you lose morale and formation. That's pretty much it. And the rest is just how you're moving around the battlefield. I can adapt that to anything if I really want to. I just personally like fantasy.
That works for me.
Yeah, works for me too. It's like as soon as I saw it, which is when you put it up, and I was like, okay, what's this?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, let me see if I can help him out and see if I can get him some artists and see if I can.
And I'm appreciative.
If I can get the word out there. And I was like, okay, this game looks like it needs to, and I'm not a big card gamer, and I was like, this looks interesting. So that says a lot already. That means that you will get people who are like, wait a minute, what's this? And I feel like as soon as you get in there, the way you have it set up, it's easier for you to jump in than it would be in other games.
Right. That's really my big focus. Like I said, I've always wanted to play war games, but I just like opening the door, you're immediately hit in the face by the I can't go in there.
It's overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming. And yes, the final product is good. I'm not bad-mouthing Warhammer or anything else anyone does. When you get there, but the learning curve is so hard. And I really want to make it accessible. I want to make it as friendly and easy to learn as any other card game that you could play out there. Sometimes they may seem complex on the surface, but when you actually sit down, it just comes down to just read the card. Here is a very simple framework of just read the card. Everything else applies from there. I want to make it accessible. I want to make it friendly. I want people to be able to pick it up and learn how to play in an hour. And so far, people have. Knock on wood.
That's good.
And yes, at the same time, it's also one of those things that once you learn it, then the infinite possibilities open up.
Nice.
No two games are ever going to be the same. And yes, you can say, okay, if you don't want to dive into the complexities, because I've played card games, and with people who make Ojama Exodia decks, there's always okay, so if I make this spreadsheet, if I pull this card at this time, then it mathematically reduces my chances of, there can be elements of that once you get into it. But also, you can just pick up a Dwarven starter deck for $30 and be ready to go.
And that's what the important thing is, because that was my issue with all the card games. It always felt like you needed more than you had in order to have any fun at the game. I wanted to buy a starter deck and go, I can play, but that was never the case.
Nope.
That's not saying anything bad about these games. It's just that you're better off if you actually have a couple of card decks, so you can actually set something up for yourself.
Now, financially and mechanically, there will always be room to improve, sure.
Right.
And of course, the business model of games like this is we would want you to buy more cards. So of course,
Right.
that's going to be the goal. However, one thing that I feel very strongly about is that a starter deck should feel like a complete army. Maybe smaller, maybe some of the units and soldiers could be upgraded, but feedback that I got from one of my playtesters was, I have never played a game before where any of the cards I got didn't feel useless.
Okay.
I know what you're talking
And
about.
any single card that you have, any unit has its uses in this.
Nice.
That's like, are there better options? Maybe, but you can make use of them. And
Nothing is
they will be
wasted.
helpful for you, and nothing is something you don't want in your deck army. And
That's
that
amazing.
to me was like one of the first things that anyone said to me that made me go, wow, I might really have something here. So yeah.
All right, so I'm looking at the watch here.
Excuse me.
So they want to support you. They want to find you. They want to check out your acting, your producing, your directing. Oh, see when you're back at the Renaissance Fair. Because even Louis here says I might have seen you there.
I think I've seen you the last time I went.
So where can people go to do all this stuff?
Well, like I said, my Patreon account is at the bottom. That's sort of a catch-all right now. I don't have a specific Kickstarter up for the game yet because I'm still acquiring art, but I'm in the process of acquiring art. You can access everything through there, and if you are particularly interested in being a playtester, the more people that I can get to test this game, the better. You can find me on Facebook, Joe DiNozzi. You can find me through my website. My email is francisjosephDiNozzi@gmail.com. Message me through Patreon. I'll get you in. Like I said, the more people, even if you can't play, even if you don't have Tabletop Simulator, if your laptop is too, cruddy to run Steam, then totally fine. At minimum, I'll send you the rule book. Please don't distribute it yet. But okay. I have, the more eyes I have on this, the better. I'm trying to make something of it. And the more mouths I have spreading the word, like I said, I'm trying to change the world here a little bit.
Exactly. We feel you because that's the whole thing. That's one of the reasons why we do this show is so that people can come on, talk about this fantastic stuff they're doing, and other people can go, hey, I want to check that out. All right, Joe, it's been a pleasure. It's been a blast.
Awesome as always.
So I think we're done here. You said everything we need to be said. They know where to find you. I'm gonna say this has been Apple Bites. We've taken a bite out of the apple and shared it with you to tell you how it tastes. With that,
I just pictured that in my head.
You told me this was a family show, Ro.
it is a family show. Come on.
It is. Well, birds do it, so there you go. We're helping the rest of the nest.
Sure.
Exactly. You got people got to know how it tastes.
Just got to change the perspective.
Come on the show and tell us how is the game tasted. We'd have a problem. And I think that is the perfect part to leave here. This is Written Ralph signing off. Get bitten.